This is Leslie Asoyan, President of Wethersfield Community Television, and welcome to the show Better Wethersfield. Today is Wednesday, July 27th, and we have an incredible guest tonight, an author and a poet, Rosa Bailey, who's going to be talking about her self-published book, her poetry, being an author, and then she's going to read some of her poetry to you. So it's going to be a really fun show tonight, really interesting, maybe inspiring or motivating. So I hope you all will watch. And let me introduce Rosa Bailey. Hi, Rosa. How are you?
Hi, Leslie. How you doing?
Good, good. Now, she's Rosa Bailey from the CEO of Beatrice Publishing House in Harford County, Connecticut. And tell us, you're a poet and an author. How did that happen?
Well, it came from the fact of the love of reading and the love of writing. So I would like to say that the library is my favorite place to be.
And it's free.
Yes, it's free. A lot of good information.
Yeah.
But when I was a little girl, I found going to the library was my solace. And so from the reading turned into the writing.
Really? At what age? Young?
It was, 8 years old.
Really?
Yes, 8 years old. I was reading what I call heavy-duty books. So W.E. Du Bois,
Wow.
Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the heavy-duty stuff.
Wow. Good
It
deal.
just really interested me.
And so that evolved over time in middle school and then high school? And
Absolutely, yes. Actually, I had a wonderful opportunity through church that I entered an oratorial contest. It was an usher oratorial contest, and I won $500 to go towards college.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so it was really nice. So when I was in high school, my teacher allowed me to actually practice the speech
Okay.
in front of fellow students.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Make you more comfortable. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we're doing tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how long have you been like a published author?
I became a published author December 2018.
Okay, so wow, and you did self-publishing, is that correct?
Yes, I actually
Okay.
did. What happened was I really didn't know what I was doing. And so, like a lot of people, you have that dream of wanting to have a book. And
Yeah.
so most of the time people say, I want to write a book, I want to write a book.
Yeah.
But it never really turns into being an author. So I didn't really know what to do. So I like to say I'm the Google queen. So
Yeah.
I just did, I Googled it
Yeah.
and I found out information. And then at the time, I have an office in my house, and I was sitting at my desk, and I said, I really don't know what to do. So I was like, what's behind me? And it was my 200 books. I have over 200 books in my private library. And I said, well, let me just open up the books and start looking at them from the point of what my book would look like. And that's
Right.
exactly what I did.
Wow, fantastic. See, I mean, you're learning every day.
Absolutely. And then I had written poems. Before I published the book, I had also set a goal to have at least 50 poems before I published the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was doing women's empowerment workshops and luncheons.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually, in August, I had planned to do one in September. And then one day I looked and I said, you know what? I started to chant that Beyonce song, What About Me, What About What I Need, the lines from the song. And I said I didn't want it to just, my legacy be that Rosa was always just simply helping someone to fulfill their dreams and not fulfill my own.
Fulfill your own.
So what
Good for
happened
you.
is so when I finally made the decision to be a published author, it took 145 days. So what I decided to do at first was to just take small steps. And so my
Right.
small step was to say, let me spend 5 minutes a day focusing on being a published author. Did I know what I was doing? No, but I
No.
said five minutes each day. 5 minutes turned into 20 minutes,
Right.
turned into staying up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then going to bed and waking back up at 8. So I ended up turning into Beauty and the Beast.
Right. But it took you less than 6 months. What,
Exactly.
4.5 months maybe?
Yes,
Yeah.
to just stay focused.
Okay, so then it took a little bit longer to have it published, or was it within that time?
No, it was in that time.
Within that time,
Yes,
see? I mean, less
yes,
than
145
half of a year
Exactly.
to publish your own book.
Right, because I actually know someone is asking me to assist them, and they said, they've been trying to write a book for 30 years. I'm like,
Aw.
nah, don't take 30 years.
Too impatient for that. And you got too much to say.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Okay, great. So let me just let everyone know that the book is called, or do you want to let everyone know what the book is
Yes.
called? Go ahead.
The book is entitled Straight from the Heart, Conversational Poetry Just for You.
Just for you.
Yes. And
Conversational poetry. I love
yes, because
Relatable poetry,
yes,
right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Relatable
So,
poetry.
initially when I started writing, it was what I felt was like a release, because the poems are eclectic collection of poetry where a woman is taking on her journey of healing, of brokenness, and low self-esteem, and that woman was me.
Oh,
So-
all of the poems?
What happened is, the way I describe the poems, there's some poems that are totally me, some poems are not about me at all, and then some are maybe a mixture.
Right.
Right, so
Life experiences.
Exactly.
And other people or friendships or family.
I'm married and I have 3 adult sons. So 2 of my poems, one of them that I am going to read tonight is called Choices.
Okay.
And that was a conversation I had with my oldest son.
Oh.
Yes.
So conversational poetry. Speaking of, what did your husband and boys think of you coming on tonight? Did you let them know?
Yes, they're excited.
Yeah.
I have what I like to call the tri-state sons. They're my 3 sons, and I call them AKA Hartford Heartbeats. So the oldest one is in upstate New York.
Okay.
And the middle one is in North Adams, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And the youngest one is at home. So, yes.
So not too far, the other 2.
No.
They got one at home still.
Yes.
Okay, so before I hand the show off to you and you read your poetry, why don't you read something now, just to get us started, like a small, short one?
Okay, so the small, short one is actually entitled Your Opinion. And I've always been a reader and a writer. So this particular one is near and dear to me because I wrote this one literally about 22 years ago.
Okay.
And then I didn't write any more poetry. And then when I decided to write poetry again and it started flowing, I had a recall on this one.
Okay.
So this one is called Your Opinion of Me is Your Opinion. But my opinion of me is much better. It is more accurate. Your opinion of me is what you think about me, but you constantly talk about me, discourage me, stifle me, degrade me, and even belittle me. But let me be my opinion of me. So set me free and let me be my opinion of me.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's just the beginning.
Thank you.
So let's hand this off, the show, and
Okay.
you can read your poetry, and then we'll catch back up in about 15 minutes or so and wrap up the show.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Rosa.
Okay. So I'd like to start with reading the poem called Choices. As I said before, that this particular poem was inspired by a conversation I had with my oldest son, Alan. So there was a particular time when, because of dealing with low self-esteem, that I just took a broad stroke over everything happening to my life was low self-esteem. And because of me being his mother, of course, I'm going to say to him, it has to be the same. So I had this really, really short conversation with him, and I said, Alan, the reason why you're going through what you're going through is because of low self-esteem. And he said, no, Mom, it's because of the choices I made. I said, Alan, it's low self-esteem. He said, it's choices. And I hung up from the phone call, and I think it was like maybe a 3-minute phone call. And guess what? He won out because I ended up beginning to write this poem called Choices. So did you know that life is about choices? I am a byproduct of my choices. I am who I am because of choices. Sometimes I feel that I have things or do things out of necessity, but you guessed it, it was really by choice. How I act, think, or feel, where I live or work, what I wear or drive, when I laugh or cry, or even get angry, it's really by choice. Some things I wanted to be angry about, but I choose to laugh and learn from. When I eat ribs, fried chicken, and fried fish, it's by choice. My favorite dessert is butter pecan ice cream. And I simply love a good carrot cake. I couldn't eat that every day. I wouldn't dare. That's my choice. My favorite color is red, but to decorate my house, that color would be absurd. Or to wear the color every day would be an overstatement. But when I put on my red high heel shoes, I look good, I feel good, and I think I got it going on. Or simply indulge myself to a much needed massage. Some people can afford to do it every day. Some people, they have both the time and the money. Just think, some choices you are so glad that you made, and other choices you pray to God for them to simply go away. For life is about choices. What choices have you made today? The other poem I want to share with you, and I know this one by heart, it's called Going Together. And I like to call it my signature poem because when I read it, it seems like it's just woman gender. But then I had someone at my church that said, hey, as a man, I can relate to this too. I was going to put it in the middle of the book, but I said, you know what? It'll be the first poem. It's called Going Together. There was a gospel singer that would come to our church quite a few times from Georgia. And my pastor would love to hear her sing. So when she stood in the pulpit before she got ready to sing, she said, you know what? With her southern drawl, I was going with a man that wasn't going with me. So I didn't write the poem right away. And so I just kind of had that thing from when you were in school and the teacher had you to write a story and you would put the title there. So a lot of my poems tend to be driven by titles. So again, the poem is entitled Going Together. I was going with a man that wasn't going with me. The places I'd like to go to, he said, that's for you, that's not for me. That's not my cup of tea. But why was I going with a man that wasn't going with me? Why did I see so much in him when he saw so little in me, when he saw so little of me? Why did I long to be with this man who really didn't want to be with me? I thought we was going together, but how could everybody else see but me how I was going with a man that wasn't going with me? And so again, the gentleman I know at church, he said, you know what? I was going with a woman that wasn't going with me. And so the poem transcends all both races, men and women, and also all types of ethnicities, because I've had people to say, I had one particular person to say to me, you know what, I was in a relationship for 12 years and everybody knew that I was in a relationship by myself, and when I ended the relationship, I started to soar. I ended up writing a book, I ended up drawing, I ended up doing the things that I really wanted to do because I was in a relationship with someone that wasn't in a relationship with me. And also I got a wonderful opportunity quite a few years ago. I was at the Women's Own Business event at the, we call it LOB, Legislative Office Building, and I was having lunch, and the person I was sitting next to was one of the staff members of the event. And so I had my book and I said, I'm a published author and this is my book, would you like to read the first poem? And she read the first poem and she says, how much is your book? And I said, $15. And she said, I'm buying your book because of that poem, because when I get home, I'm going to read these to my two daughters. So I just like to say that though these poems have been a release for me, they also have been a release to others. I also want to read another poem It's called Clipped Wings. And a friend of mine, I was never able to read it to her because she passed away a few years from cancer, but I was able to read it to her husband. And this poem, I was inspired by my friend Iris Rich, and she went by Iris Hope Rich. She was the executive director for 17 years at Women's League Child Development Center, where I'm also a board member. And so one day I was sitting and I was inspired to write this poem because of her, and it's called Clipped Wings. I was walking with a limp, yes. My wings were clipped. I wanted to soar. I wanted to explore. Always walking to, but never through the door. But one day you spoke to me and gave me the courage to say, I shall fly again. I will even soar once more. For out of your love and a concern for me, you helped me, even with clipped wings, to fly. And that's for my friend, Iris Rich. Also, I'd like to share a poem. It's called A Mother's Lips. So again, I'm a mother of 3 sons, Alan, Justin, and Jamar, and of course, all different personalities. So Justin, I call him my sports baby. He has been playing football since he was 9 and baseball since he was 5. He's a personal trainer, a coach. And so this particular poem is called A Mother's Lips. A cup of soup, it has been said, can cure the common cold, but a mother's lips can cure both body and soul. With her lips, she can kiss your tears. With those same lips, she can calm your fears, telling you to hold on for what you want and desire, dear, for it's not far, it's quite near. A mother's lips can say you can do it. With those same lips, she can help you through it. For a mother's lips can cure both body and soul. A mother's lips will encourage you to wipe away the shame. With those same lips will let you know that you are not the target, but the aim. A mother's lips will tell you that your attitude will determine your altitude. And with those same lips will let you know your longitude will extend far enough to reach the stars of success. For a mother's lips can cure both body and soul. And I also like to share with you a poem. One day I was looking out the window. And actually this poem is called Open Window. Amidst the stained glass windows of shattered broken pieces, I see an open window. A chirping bird singing a melodic tune, welcoming the rising sun, saying goodbye to the evening moon. As the sound resonates throughout, I see an open window. A woodpecker pecking away with rhythmic beat against the drilling on a tree as the breeze passes by. I see an open window. As people walking robotically down the street, going many places, everyone's in a hurry, never the twain to meet. I see an open window. I won't retreat or become a recluse as I envision God's amazing blessings with my name on it that He wants to pour out to me. The window is open for me. Open windows for me to see. I'd like to share with you this poem called Church Lady. And for me, I had an awesome opportunity over a month ago to get a phone call, and one of the founders of our church, which is First Cathedral in Bloomfield, Connecticut, one of the founders passed away. She was 99 years old. She would be 100 in October. And I had read this poem to her son a couple years ago called after speaking to her to say happy birthday. And unbeknownst to me, he had decided in his mind that at his mother's funeral he would want me to read it. So I made sure that I had on a fascinator on my head. I had this nice dress, these heels and the shoes to match. As I walked up to the pulpit, and that was my first time at that pulpit. I was at the pulpit when we were at a different location, but that was my first time, so I was a little nervous. But this is what I said. This is what I read, the church lady. I owe a lot to my upbringing, the way I walk, and especially my style of attire to the church lady. A real church lady is genuine, authentic, and bona fide. A church lady is full of wisdom and the matters of God and confident in the matters of self. That's the church lady. Though life sometimes may have taken her for a roller coaster ride, she could feel betrayed or beaten, but never could be defeated. That's the church lady. Look at her dressed like a queen on a throne, adorned from head to toe, wearing stockings in 92 degrees heat. With manicured nails, not a hair out of place, with a smile on her face, with welcoming arms to show you God's amazing grace. That's the church lady. She could be stern, no nonsense, and sweet. But with a heart of gold, shimmering jewel, she's complete. The style of a church lady. Thank you.
Hi, Rosa.
Hello, how are you?
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Mother's lips. Love it.
Thank you.
That was so good. That was really good.
I appreciate it.
I loved it. So introspective
Thank you.
and deep
Thank you.
and thoughtful.
Thank you.
So thank you.
So
I want to tell, our pleasure, really. I just want to tell everyone some information of how to reach Rosa. She's on Instagram. It's CEO Boss Lady 1022. That's your,
Yes.
is that handle? Okay, on Instagram. And by phone, 860-616-8925. Is that a cell phone?
Yes.
Cell phone. And then email, if you want to email Rosa, it's ceobosslady1022@gmail.com. But I want you to show everyone the cover. Okay. So let's hold up the book. Look at this. This is so beautiful. And who did the cover art? Did you come up with that? I just want to show everybody. Isn't this awesome?
A local graphic designer and also an artist. He did the graphic design of it, and then I have a person, photographer. I say my photographer because I use him for everything I do.
So again, the title of the book is Straight from the Heart, Conversational Poetry, Just for You. Do you want to take us out and read one final poem?
Yes. Let me see what I'm going to give you. Okay, I'm going to give you. Well, this particular book was dedicated in the memory of my mother, and also the reason why it's called Beatrice Publishing House, because my mother's name was Beatrice Martin, and she died at age 48, and I was 26 years old, and I still wanted my mother. So when I was going through the book, I came across my mama, so I'm going to read my mama. My mama has always been there for me. She has been my everything. She has loved me unconditionally. She was my number one cheerleader and supporter, supporting everything that I did, always making me feel that I could do anything that I put my mind to do. Silver and gold she did not always have, but freely giving me Jesus. She gave me her very best and everything she had, and sometimes even her last. Always seeing the good in me and ignoring the bad. Miss B, as she was affectionately called, was a woman of strong wisdom and grace. Never ashamed to express her love and faith, whether singing praises while driving in her car or while stirring grits in the kitchen. No gossip from her lips, as she would say, 6 months to take care of your own business and 6 months to stay out of everybody else's. That takes care of the year. I am honored to be your daughter. Thank you for being my mother. I love and miss you so much. You have left an indelible imprint on my heart. I will always love my mama. Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show, Rosa. Let's show the book one more time.
Okay.
Tell everyone the name.
Straight from the Heart, Conversational Just for You.
And it's her email is ceobosslady1022@gmail.com. Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you. Appreciate it.